Hello, this video is going to be a quick tutorial on modeling a bowl from a board wood turning process in FreeCAD. I'm using FreeCAD 1.1.0 release candidate 1, but I think it should work with pretty much any recent version of FreeCAD. So let's get started. We're going to be in the part workbench. So I'll switch to that if you're not there. This is not intended to be a FreeCAD tutorial as in how to use FreeCAD as much as it is about this process. However, I'll try to be clear as I do things, so if you haven't used FreeCAD before, maybe you can follow along. First thing we're going to do is create a sketch. That's what this button is here, new sketch. And we're going to choose the XZ plane, which is the front of this box. Click on OK. This is our sketch. I'm going to model a cross section of the each disc for the bowl from a board. So let's go ahead and grab the polyline tool, and we're going to draw what it will look like after we cut these sections out from the board. We'll click on the line and hit the D key for dimension and pull it down and hit enter. We're going to put 50.8. All right, and then we'll hit the D key again and we'll do this angle, which will be 45 degrees. And finally, with the dimension tool still active, we'll hit this one and we'll do 18 millimeters, right? That's our sketch. You can tell it's constrained because it's changed color. Close. That's our first sketch. And then we're going to do, we'll do 4 rings real quick. So let's do another sketch on the same plane. And what we're going to do is we're going to import, by using this external projection tool, the geometry from this sketch. Same thing, we're going to do a polyline, and we will draw a rough cross section. If you get this orange, it means there's a redundant constraint. You can click on it here and hit delete, and that will usually fix it. We'll set the length of this ring to be 25.41 inch, and we will set this angle, instead of 45, we'll do 40, like that. So this bowl will have a slight changing angle as it goes up. We'll do one more sketch. Actually, we're only going to do 3 rings, just because it gets a little complicated with too many. So we'll do one more ring, and that'll be the last ring for this example. Again, we'll do external projection, and we'll click on that line to get that. And then we will draw. Since this is the last ring, it's going to go straight down like that. All right, same thing with the redundant. I'll click there, hit delete. One thing we got to do is hit the D key and say how long we want that to be. And let's do 50.8, 2 inches. Okay, there we go. So now we've got our cross section. If you ever want to see where we're at, we can go view, toggle axis cross. So you can see that the section starts at the origin of the drawing and it goes out. So what we want to do now is we want to revolve each of these. So I'll click on this sketch here and I'll do this icon is revolution. And you don't have to change anything because it's already set to rotate around the Z direction. So I'll just click on OK. And then I'll do the same thing for each of these sketches. Click on OK. And click on OK. Boom. So now we have our rings. These are the rings that we're going to cut out of our board. So now we have to model the board. Before we model the board, though, I want to rename these because it can get confusing. We'll call this ring 1. And you can hit F2 to rename ring 2. Now I'm putting an underscore. You'll see why later. And ring 3 underscore. All right, so we've got our rings created. Now, if you think about it, we're going to have 2 slices in the board that we make to make it simple. And so for each ring, we're going to need 2 copies of each ring to intersect with those slices. So right now we want to clone these rings. So we're going to go to the draft workbench and we're going to click on ring 1, make a clone, and then click on ring 2, make a clone, and click on ring 3, make a clone. The underscore makes it easier to tell which one is which, right? So we got ring 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 2 copies of all the rings. Now we need to model that board. We'll go back to the part workbench. And we'll click over here to make sure nothing's selected and hit sketch. And we'll choose that XZ plane. If you do have something selected and you hit sketch, you're going to get a different menu. which is trying to attach that sketch to the object that is selected, which is why you don't want anything selected. So I'll click over here, make a new sketch on the XZ plane, and we can't see the origin, so first of all I'm going to turn off that toggle axis cross that I turned on earlier. Oops, it won't let me. We'll do that in a minute. We'll go ahead and we'll click on this one, which views sections. So this shows you the cross section of our rings. Okay. What we want to do now is we want to model the glue up for the board that we're going to use. And to do that, I'm going to grab the polyline. Before I grab the polyline, I should grab the external projection again, and we'll pull in this line here. And then what I'll do is grab the polyline, and I'm going to go from this corner to this one, down to here, and then back and close it there. Now we have external constraints. I'll click here and delete. This one and this one, I want it to be vertical, right? So now it's fully constrained, and that's going to be one of our slices. Okay, we need to make the opposite slice. So we're going to click again over here and make a new sketch on the XZ plane. Click here to view the section. I'm going to bring in the external geometry, which is going to be just this ring here. I just want that. And again, I'm going to do a polyline. This time I'm going to go from here to here, down to here, back up to here. I'm going to right click to end the polyline and then hit close. So now we've got our two sketches, which we can't see because they're hidden. Let me go to view, toggle axis cross to turn that off. That makes it a little easier. Okay, so we need to extrude these sketches. So I'm going to click on a sketch 3, and I'm going to do this one, which is extrude. You might know it as a pad in other CAD systems. We're going to extrude it. We want it to be symmetric because we want to extrude it both ways. And we're going to do 285. Let's see if that's enough. Click on OK, and that is enough. As long as the board is bigger than the circle, than all these discs, then that's all we need. I'll click on this sketch here and extrude it. Same thing, I'm going to choose symmetric. 285. All right, now we've got our pieces. We're going to rename these. I'm going to call this the right underscore. That's the right side. Rename this one left. Oops. Underscore. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to intersect them, but we need, for each ring, we need 2 of these slices to intersect, and there's 3 rings. So we need 6 copies of the right and left. So I'm going to go back, remember the draft workbench, because it has the clone tool. You can customize and add the clone tool to your part workbench, but that's a little bit beyond the scope. All right, so I'm going to click on right, and I'm going to make 2 copies. So now I've got 2 copies. Click on left, I'm going to make 2 copies. So now I have all the copies I need. Now what I need to do is an intersection, which is again back in the part workbench. So what we're going to do is we're going to intersect ring 1 with the left, or with the right, and then we're also going to do ring 1 here with the left. So ring 1, right, I'm holding the control key down so I can select both of those items. And then I want to do ring 1 with the left. And then now there's no more ring 1s because they both got turned into these commons. Ring 2 with the right. And then ring 2 with the left. Oops. With this left. And then ring 3 with right, intersect. Ring 3 with left and intersect. All right, so now we have our rings. If I look at the front view, you can see we've got the bottom and the top. And you can also, if you want to go to view, toggle transparency. It doesn't seem to be working. Okay, well, let me move on. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to move these up so it looks just like our board, our bowl will look when we actually glue it up. So we want to rename these. I'm going to call this ring 1 underscore B for bottom. All right. F2 ring 1 underscore top. F2 ring 2 underscore bottom. F2 ring 2 underscore top. Ring 3 underscore bottom. ring 3 underscore, oops, I'm gonna mess that up, top. All right, it's just better to rename them so you know what is what. We want to move these rings up, so we're going to grab ring 2, right click and do a transform. The rings are 18 millimeters, so I've put 18 millimeters in the translation snapping. All I got to do is grab W and go up 1 until it moves. Click on OK. Same thing on this one. 1. The next one, we're going to have to go up 2. 1, 2. And then this one, 1, 2. So now if we look at the front view, everything's lined up, and that's our board as if we just glued it up after we sliced it on the bandsaw. Now, what we might want to do is model what it might look like after we shape it on the lathe. And you can do that as well. We're in the Park Workbench again. We're going to click on Sketch, and we'll make a sketch on this. We're going to hit the section so that we can see the inside of the bowl now, so we know where we can draw. We're going to be using what's called a B-spline, which is a curve. We're going to grab it down here, and we're just going to click along the path. And we're going to go outside the bowl. We're going to right click when we're done. I'm going to bring in external geometry here. And I'll do another B-spline. And this one is just going to kind of follow that path. And I'm going to right click to end it. You want this to be outside of the bowl. And I'm going to click on a regular line and just draw a line between these two to connect it. And then I'm going to grab the polyline again. And I'm going to click here. Click on this line here. I'm going to come down here, 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 and there. Okay, we got it. Redundant constraint, click here and delete. This one I want it to be horizontal. So I click on it and press the H key. So this represents the bottom, cut out of the bowl. So we could do whatever we want with that. Let's say we're happy with that. We're going to close it. And then same thing as before, we're going to click on it and do a revolution. You don't have to change anything, just click on OK, and now it's revolved. You can't see it because it's inside of these segments. If we hide all of these, whoops, you can see our smooth bowl now, right? And if you look at the bottom, it's got that little cutout just like we would have in a real bowl. All right, so let's bring these back. Same as before, we need to do an intersection. And to properly do an intersection, we need to have 6 copies of this revolve because there's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices that we need to intersect with. So same as before, we'll click on the revolve. We'll go to draft, and then we're going to hit the clone tool 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we've got 6 clones now. This one's a little easier. We'll go back to the part, and we just got to click this one and this one and do an intersection and keep doing that. All right, now we have all of our slices, so you can see them here. If we go to the top view, like that. Now, let's say we want to do, color the different segments so we can see them better. You can do that using FreeCAD, but I like to use a macro that is called color wheel selector. And that lets me click on each of the items that I want to change the color on. And I just apply that. And then I can click here and here and here. Let's do a dark color, apply. All right, close. So now we've got our bowl from a board modeled. Let's say we want to rotate these 2 middle rings. That's pretty easy. We can click those 2 middle rings, and then down here in the data pane, we've got angle, and you can see it rotates around the z-axis. So we can put 180, and that rotates that ring. So now if we look at the top, that ring is now rotated where the thick part is on this side instead of on this side. So that pretty much concludes this demonstration, the cool thing about FreeCAD is you can actually write Python code that does everything you can do when you draw. I'm going to show you a quick example of a Python code I'm working on. I'll make a new document and I'll run this macro called bowl from a board, and it generates a bowl from a board from scratch just with one click. And you can see that it's set up where it has 8 segments across. So this is a glue up that would have had 8 pieces of wood glued together. And same as before, we can color one of those segments. So let's just do that. Apply. Oops. All right, so now we've got that color, and you can also use another macro that rotates it. So now if we look at the top, we've got a rotated, oops, it rotated it this way. You know, each one's rotated by 10 degrees or whatever. So this is in development. It's very early, but hopefully I'll be able to publish something at some point and I'll put out a video on it. So I hope you're interested and enjoyed the video. The next video, part 2, will be how to take this into Blender. And I'll see you there.